I'm Matt Bouchard with REIT.com here in La Quinta, California for NAREIT's 2013 Leader in the Light Working Forum. Joining me is Sukanya Paciorek, the Vice President of Corporate Sustainability with Vornado Realty Trust. Sukanya, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Vornado was recognized as the 2012 Leader in the Light Award in the Diversified category. What do you think is the key ingredient for your company to have established such a well-recognized sustainability program?
I think there are a couple of things. I think the first and foremost is that we have support from the very top, and I think that makes a big difference. Our chairman is very committed, and we've been at this for several years now. And I think the second piece is that inherently, I think, instills a culture in the company that people are really committed to these issues. So we have a wide team of people in the company that, even if it's not their primary day job, it's part of what they do day in and day out. I think we've done a good job of integrating it into the culture of the company. As
a publicly traded real estate company, the number one priority and overall focus, unfortunately, is not sustainability, and these efforts can be very resource intensive. How do you go about embedding that and the ideas and the practices and the principles into the core of what the company does?
I think part of it is assessing as a company what sustainability means to the core company. In our case, we operate buildings, right? We manage and operate buildings, and a quality run asset, Class A asset, should be a sustainable asset, right? We should be running efficient operations. Our infrastructure should be efficient. Our people should know how to run it efficiently. So a lot of it is understanding how it applies to us and then implementing it from an operations and maintenance standpoint. It's a combination of making sure that there's enough capital in the buildings that can keep the infrastructure up to date, but then also training our employees to understand how they make a difference in that in terms of the day-to-day operations of the building.
And in what ways are you able to measure the success of your sustainability initiatives, and what sort of results have you seen?
Well, we track energy usage, water usage, and recycling rates throughout our portfolio. And the greatest successes that we've seen over the last few years since we've made this commitment have really come from a reduction in energy consumption, a reduction in water, and improvements in our recycling rates in our portfolio. I'll give an example of our energy reduction. A few years ago when we launched our sustainability programs, our New York division challenged our chief engineers and our property managers that if any building reduced their energy consumption 10% year over year, either electricity or steam, we did an iPad competition. And in the first year we had 4 buildings that reduced their consumption. The second year we had 6 different buildings that did it. So those are the types of things that we want to kind of make sure that the culture really supports, but also that we're recognizing year over year and making sure that those improvements are highlighted.
What sort of response have you gotten from your investors?
We've gotten very positive response so far. We meet with investors throughout the year who have questions about our core business, but then more and more over the last few years, sustainability issues have been part of that conversation. And I think it has been important for us to show leadership on this issue, and I think it's been important to investors to hear from us that we're actually paying attention. It's becoming much more commonplace in terms of what we have to talk about when we meet with investors.
And the last question, what would you say is the next stage or evolution likely to be in this area of sustainability?
I think in terms of next steps, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the leadership position that a lot of the companies here have taken merge with kind of upcoming regulatory frameworks throughout the U.S. and abroad. I think technology has a long way to go, so it's going to be very interesting over the next 10 years to see how technology development and redevelopment helps us do our jobs better and lower the upfront cost of improving existing buildings. So I think there are challenges ahead, but I think the opportunities are great as well.
Sukanya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For more on this and other REIT news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT.com.